big day for sport. They must have known
that was coming out.
The fastest rising sports podcast was recording today. They must have known.
Right.
Had to have known.
Yeah. So Brad Stevens out as the head coach of the Celtics.
I think it's so tough to be the head coach and the
you can't
head of basketball operations. I think he is now.
Can't do both. They're
Only
two
like
very
distinct, right?
different jobs.
What is it? GM.
It depends on what you
head of
label it.
basketball operations. Though.
Yeah, that essential position.
But to build a team and then have to go coach it and kind of worry about like salaries, who's what, like all that stuff is probably Doc couldn't do it. You saw what he tried to be in LA, couldn't handle it. I think you were right in Pop being the only one that's somewhat still like that.
Yeah.
But that is such a hard spot to be in, to build a team up and then go coach it how you really want to coach it.
Yeah. I think he's going to do a good job at it, though. I honestly think he'll be a very good
I'm kind of disappointed that he's not a coach anymore.
True.
Because he is a very sound coach. I love the sets he comes out, in-game adjustments, his whole scheme. I love it. I'm a big Brad Stevens fan, and I'm a Sixers fan. So it's tough for me to say that.
Here's a question. Does he pull, you think at any point during his tenure as head of basketball operations, you think he pulls like a Pat Riley 1 year, coach isn't getting it done, I'm going to take over the team?
No.
I don't see him as a Riley or even like a Phil Jackson type executive.
Well, he doesn't have that type of...
That Jackson wouldn't take over the Knicks.
He doesn't have that type of personality, though. He doesn't have that type
of... I think he's going to fill his lane and let that guy, whoever that next coach is, come in and...
Well, I'm not saying anytime soon, but like let's say...
So who do they get, though?
10 years from now or something,
Now, who do you go get to be that? Because you're not going to find many better than Brad to coach you. Who's even out there that you can go get to be as good, if not better? Not many.
It's going to be an interesting process. I don't know who. I honestly can't give you a couple names right now.
I couldn't tell you. That's why I'm asking you.
I don't know. But it's going to be an interesting process for the Celtics here in the offseason. And
not only them, but
Brad's
you were kind of saying about the other headliner.
Well, now it goes, before we get off the Celtics, now it goes back to, we were talking from back when we started this thing 15 episodes ago when the Indiana job was up.
We thought he was going there.
Brad turned it down.
Yeah, right.
Now, we talked about it at the Fieldhouse, me and Tom, before. He had to have known something like this was. You
think Danny was in his ear, kind of saying like, "Don't do anything." Like, this is it.
And that's where it goes back to the next headliner. But this one's the same way. You don't just wake up on Wednesday, June 2nd, and drop and make a move that fast. You know, in the first sentence, Danny Ainge is out.
Right.
Second sentence, Brad is out, and he's moving on.
It's already in the process, right?
And he's leading the search for the next coach.
Wow.
That was done a long time ago.
Which I read in the article on ESPN, like it said, Brad Stevens was starting to get burnt out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the NBA. Like, do you think he was close when Indiana was up to leaving, and they're like, hey, listen, like. You know,
there has to be part of it.
Like Danny, like he
has to.
Like, so no, I'm thinking like to get him to stay. Like no, Danny's gonna step down. You know, don't leave. Like I think he might have been closer than people think to taking the Indiana job.
Because again, they were in Brooklyn last night. They weren't far off the plane when this announcement came off.
Right.
So.
Well, power to him, man. I hope he does a good job. I'm a fan of him.
He needs to get Tatum someone because I was watching that game. Oh my God, Tatum.
Yeah, it's all Tatum.
Well, that's
my guy Romeo Langford got 2 playoff starts.
That's tough.
All right,
but I mean, it doesn't help that Jalen Brown is hurt.
Yeah, that doesn't
help. That's another maybe 20 and
you have
legit.
You have
defender.
Evan Fournier out there as one of your starters. Like 5 years ago, that might not have been bad.
Fournier's got a hell of a haircut.
Kemba's not the same as he used to be either. Ever since his injury, he's not like as explosive. Like he kind of gives you. I mean. You look at Kemba, he was almost supposed to be giving you 25.
And
they said it on the broadcast last night. Kyrie really put a damper in the Celtics' plans by bolting and leaving.
Big time.
Leaving to go to Brooklyn.
How about him? Speaking of Kyrie, how about him stepping on the logo, too?
What's up, Odin? You put Kyrie on that team with Tatum. You know,
it's almost Kyrie and Durant-esque.
Right.
That's what you see in Brooklyn. I mean, you look at Brooklyn. How I see it is that first quarter, it's basically Kyrie and KD getting all the shots to an extent. It's them just getting warmed up, getting the feel of the game. They'll get taken out. Then James stays in with that second team, and then he gets everybody warmed up, and he gets himself going a little bit, and now everybody's in the flow of the game. And then you look at later parts of the game, now it's kind of like they kind of pick and choose who's playing with. And then when it's really like time to win the game, you got those three out there who's ever playing hottest, and who's going to guard us.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie,
you know what I mean?
Kyrie and KD have been hot from deep.
Yeah,
they have not been missing.
I mean, you have three of the best ISO players in the league right now.
Yeah.
One of the best pick and roll players in the league right now. So, I mean, I don't know how you guard them.
And then they get to the basket.
Well, last week you knew how to guard the Nets.
Well, that was before JoJo got hurt, and now we're at a standstill.
Now going
how
back.
Quickly the tide changes for a Sixers fan.
Going back to a conversation we had last podcast or the one before that again. Can you imagine if the Sixers right now had Embiid, Simmons, and Tatum?
Yeah, they never traded or drafted Markelle Fultz. Yeah.